after me, please. So much music.
So much music.
So little time.
So little time.
So much music.
So much music.
So little time. And you know, it's all country music. Come on, say it. It's all country music.
It's all country music.
Just depends on the country.
Just depends on the country.
There you go. A couple of my favorite lines from Joffre. I know you all have some favorite lines, and we're going to have plenty of time to share that today, because today is mostly about all of us and Joff. And we're going to make some good memories here as we share memories that we all have. I'm going to take one little second to walk through kind of our run of the service today. We're doing the welcome right now. We're going to have the obit read a little bit later. There's 2 omissions from the obituary that we're going to straighten out when we put it in the newspaper. What's missing in that is that Joffre is a university graduate. We couldn't quite figure out the year or the place. I'm told it's Carolina. And then also he was helped in the planning department in the town of Mebane. Then there's going to be, I'm going to read a little poem, and then after that poem, we're going to have the reading of the obituary, and after that, we're going to have a little musical selection from George. Mike, is George here? You haven't seen anybody gotten a text from him?
He'll probably be here.
Yeah, I would think so too. I got my phone's occupied now, and if George doesn't do it, we'll have Jody come on and do that. Then we got another little poem, and then we're going to have a time of just quiet, where we'll get to inhale and exhale a little bit together in this special and sacred space. And then after that time of quiet, we are going to then have open mic. And so any stories, any songs, any poems, any jokes, any curse words, this is liberated territory here today, so we can do anything we want to do. So anybody have any questions or concerns before that? We have extra instruments here. If you need extra instruments, obviously players have brought some over there, and that looks beautiful. It just looks like we're in Joff's house when I see all that. Any other questions or anything else? Well, if not, I'd like to begin some of this with a reading of a portion of a poem by the poet Mary Oliver. And the poem itself is called When Death Comes, and this is kind of the latter part of that poem. When death comes, like an iceberg between shoulder blades, I want to step through that door full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility, and I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular. And each name, a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, towards silence. And each body, a line of courage, and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life, I was a bride married to amazement. I was a bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Now I'd like Miss Jennifer Coe-McLaurin, if she'd be kind enough, a niece of Joffre, to come up and read Joffre's obit for us.
I'm going to read, but I'll probably move it around a little bit. Uncle Joff, Joffre Lanning II, was better known as simply as Joff. He was born June 11, 1947 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. He was a uniquely gifted and generous man with many talents, skills, and interests. He will be greatly missed by all of us, friends and family. Joff was a true Renaissance man. A 1965 graduate of Chapel Hill High School, he was a U.S. Army combat veteran who who served from 1966 to 1969 with the 1st Signal Brigade, initially in Germany, and then attached to the 25th Infantry Division based in, I'm going to say this wrong, Juchi, Vietnam,
That's good enough.
including during its defense. During the January 1968 Tet Offense, he was a musician, a luthier, a recording and sound engineer, a
You're doing good, girl.
nervous and emotional, a Chapel Hill police officer, a 9/11 dispatcher, a builder, a commercial fisherman, and a son of 2 legendary souls. The late UNC archaeologist Dr. Joffre Lanning and Seth Goodman Coe. He was the wife of many years of Jolene Coe, Aunt Jo, and their son, Joffre Lanning Coe. Jay, the third, preceded him in death. He is survived by his brother Damon Denton Coe, his grandson Joffre Lanning Coe, Jake, his nephew Damon Denton Coe II, me, his niece Jennifer Lynn Coe McLaurin, and his later in life companion and soulmate, Debbie Sterling.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And if George is here, he'd do a little music, but if George isn't here, he had to come in from Wake Forest. I'll just do another one of these poems, and we'll save Jody's thing for on the other side of our silence period. I'm going to do another short poem from Miss Mary Oliver. This is called When I Sleep in the Forest. I thought the earth remembered me. She took me back so tenderly, arranging her dark skirts, her pockets full of lichens and seeds. I slept as never before. A stone on the riverbed, nothing between me and the white fire of the stars but my thoughts. And my thoughts floated light as moths among the branches of the perfect trees. All night I heard the small kingdoms breathing around me, the insects and the birds who do their work in the darkness. All night I rose and fell as if in water, grappling with the luminous doom. By morning, I had vanished at least a dozen times into something better. All right, at this time, we'll have a moment of silence just to gather our hearts, gather our thoughts, breathe in, breathe out, and in doing so, hopefully breathe a bit of Joff's memory and personhood into this space where we are today. So come, Holy Spirit, come and breathe into our hearts and minds. those of you who need to sleep during that time, you can go back. We'd like to have a musical presentation. Is that George who just came in? George,
Big
what?
Ed's go down to 85, sorry.
Don't you worry, brother, you're here. That's all that matters. And we're here together. So maybe since George has come in, Jody, if you would bring your crew up, whatever you had. Jody would do a selection he put together, and then let George gather his breath, and we'll let George do the selection that he had in mind. And following these two prepared musical selections, we'll have the open mic time. And again, any poem, any reflection, any story, any other song, accompanied or unaccompanied, it's wide open. You can do it right where you sit. I think the acoustics are good, or you can come up here and use this mic, take this place here. As you probably know, while the folks are tuning up, that's Joffre's guitar. As Jake puts it, the only guitar he finished, but it's good.
I thank my friends Rodney and Jay for helping me out today. We're doing a tune that we used to play with Joff. If we had a nickel for every song we played with Joff, we'd have at least $2.
In a day.
Yeah. I had the good fortune of hanging out with Joff just 2 weeks ago. And I was playing some songs. I like to write songs. And I was just playing some songs that we knew, and practicing. He didn't feel like playing. He was just, I kept wanting to put lighter strings on the guitar. He had heavier strings. He was using that for an excuse, But me and Joff played a little bit more before he quit altogether. But I was playing this one song, and something came over me, and I found myself deep in emotion and tearing up. I'll never forget that moment because I don't know what that was about. Because whenever you hung out with Joff, you laughed and joked and
Drink beer and whiskey.
drank a lot of beer and whiskey too, yeah. But Joff was a lighthearted soul. But I really believe in my heart that Joff's with the Lord. I believe he's with Jesus Christ. I got that feeling from him years ago when I first started playing with him. I was working in a church. And I would hang out, and I got to know Joff at work, and I got to play music with him, and I could sense his reverence for the Lord. And so I can't help but think that I'm going to see Joff in heaven someday. And that brings me great comfort.
Amen.
This song here is about that very thing. It's called Wayfaring Stranger, and how that those of us that believe in Jesus Christ and trust in Jesus Christ, which is not hard to do when you consider that everything Jesus said, he did. Every promise he made, he's kept. And he promises to come back someday. So let's not forget that. And it's both a promise. It's a promise to those that believe, and it's a warning to those that don't believe. So take it as you will. I pray that all of us would be believers in Jesus Christ in this room. Traveling through this world of woe, there is no sickness, no toil or danger in that bright land which I go. I'm going there to see my brother. I'm going there, no more to roam. I'm only going
Thank you, Jody, Jane, and Rodney. We may hear more from them during the open mic time. George, if you feel settled in, if you wanted to come up and do what you had prepared, coming all the way in from Wake Forest, North Carolina, Mr. George Michaels. And we have a music stand there in case you need it, or
Good to see you. Sure. Jake, I'm George. I met you about this talk.
Yeah, I believe that. I probably want to draw parties.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are all playing out back and stuff.
That was so long ago now. You'll have to pardon me for that.
I'm usually more prepared than this, but 85 was all screwed up because some people ran into each other.
happens every day.
Inconveniencing everybody else. So I moved down here about 17 years ago. And, should I go over there?
No, I mean, I think because you can hear George, right?
Yep.
I moved here about 17 years ago, and I joined the Triangle Folk Team, which is a bunch of folks who like folk music. And about a year or two later, I met Joff, who walked into one of our jams in Carver. And he was quite a character, I thought. He was there with Sherry Lee, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sherry has COVID. She tested positive for COVID. She wanted to be here today, and she's here in some of the pictures. But
I was hoping she would be. And she was playing some kind of drum.
Djembe, the West African drums.
And it was fun. I know.
We're going to have to ask who's ever talked in the back, maybe speak more soft. If you need to talk, that's fine, but a little more softly so we can focus on what George has brought us. Thank you.
Whoops.
That's gravity. He brought some of that with him, too.
Yeah. So, where was I?
Talking about Sherry and Djembe and Triangle Folk Jammers.
Yeah, so a lot of what you were talking about here was some more spiritual stuff. In truth, Joff and I didn't ever talk about that.
You missed the Mary Oliver poems.
We talked about a lot of stuff, but not that. Now, I didn't know what the program was really going to be, because I played a lot of music with Joff. I must have played in 15 different groups called Morgan Creek. Different members every time. Some of them here. It was always fun. I used to pick up Joff to go to the jam in later years when he was unable to drive after about 5 o'clock. And I also picked up David McKnight. It got so I was feeling like I was a bus driver. I'd leave Wake Forest, go to Durham, find David, which is at multiple locations depending on where he slept that night. And then we go to Joff's house and pick him up and go to the Triangle Folk Jam. One night, we were going home from there, so it's reverse order now. We're leaving the Church of the Advocate in Chapel Hill and going back to Joff's house. And he tells me about this shortcut, so I said, all right, and we take the shortcut. And we're getting pretty far, and all of a sudden there's like blue lights behind us, flashing. And I think, well, that can't possibly be for us, so I pull over. And he pulls over, right behind me. And Joff says, don't worry, I used to be a Chapel Hill policeman. And I turned around, and there he's drinking a Bud Light. I'm thinking, well, John, I don't care what you were. Would you please put that away? So a cop comes up and talks to us. David McKnight, if you know him, he's hysterical. He's thinking we're all going to jail, we're going to be killed. Whatever. That's one of the things I remember about Joff. The song he always sang. Now tonight we make good time, straddling that yellow line. Another town, same old song. My mind is racing down the street. These shoes are suffocating me. The only place I want to be is gone. Take me where them rolling hills gather up and cure my ills. Let me smell that long leaf pine. If you know the words, sing along. Here I come off the space. Just don't get my name or face before I go back down Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Oh, the green hills. Beside blue waters, Carolina, love you still. America so big and great, coast to coast, coast, state to state. I love you from the east to the west. New York Island, California, Woody Guthrie had it for you, but there's a corner of you I know best. Oh, Carolina, over green hills, beside bluer waters, Carolina, love you still. Nothing could be finer than to know where you stand and feel that big love coming down. Hey, gray skies don't rain on me. I got some place I got to be. The emptiness is all in me. I think I should be going. 61, 66, any road can give you a kiss, but only one can carry you down. Oh, Carolina, over greener hills, beside blue waters,
Don't forget it, though.
Okay.
Are you old enough to forget it?
Yeah.
I know, so don't forget it. That's what I'm telling you. So, go ahead, make yourself comfortable. We're going to keep on moving with the program here. Welcome all the new people coming in. We're glad you're here. A lot of us didn't know Joffre when he was just coming up in his early years. There may be some people here who did, maybe we'll hear from them, but I only knew Joffre about 18 years or so. But a man named Billy Oliver, who was 1 year younger than Joff and still with us, he was a student of Joffre's father, Joffre Coe I. And Billy was a great student and scholar and went on to be a public servant. He's retired as the chief archaeologist for the state of North Carolina. He sent me some good stuff. And some of it may be in these pictures up here behind me, that I can't tell. But I'm going to kick off our little sharing time by, first of all, finding something I'll find it later. It's in here somewhere. Peter White sent something, but I'll kick us off. This is a song that Joffre wrote about his father. And he wrote it when he was in high school. But there's just so much in this song that also reminds me of Joffre II. And the fruit don't fall far from the tree. So this is the prologue to it. And this was written by a man who witnessed this song. So here we go. In the fall of 1965, the Cherokee Project, that's one of the archaeology projects that Joffre's father headed up, had ended its first full summer of excavations. But for various reasons now unknown, several of the summer crew, myself included, remained to continue excavation at Garden Creek until the end of November. Well, Joff Coe II joined us for part of that period and shared with us the companionship and damp chill of the uninsulated dance house. That's somewhere, I guess, in Canton. Because after supper in Canton, we would gather of an evening in front of the coal-burning fireplace. There was nothing else to do. There was nothing else to do in the fall up Henson Cove. And the fireplace was the warmest place to do nothing. It was Joff II who inspired these attempts at songwriting. He had a guitar, maybe his 12-string Martin. I wish I knew what that was. A good command of contemporary folk music and a fine sense of humor. These were performed at the Research Laboratories Christmas party. Research Laboratories is what Joff Coe I headed up. They also performed later on at Christmas parties for a couple more years. So the intro of the song is, "Oh, come all you fellows so young and so fair, and seek not your fortune in a 5x5 square." Those of you familiar with archaeology know what that is. You'll soon lose your marbles and even your hair. So I haven't practiced this much. It's only 3 verses, but it's a chorus that I know you can help us with. And it also mentions in here a Dodge, D-O-D-G-E, Dodge. And I thought at first, well, maybe that's because somebody wasn't working hard. But then I remember Joffre told me about this old Dodge big Suburban or something big enough to carry a lot of students and tools in. And so you'll know when the Dodge comes up. I hope I'm close enough in Tuesday. And you're going to know the melody, and you're going to know what to do in the chorus. It was in the red clay Piedmont that he first did sink his spade. 'Twas at the side of Town Creek that his scholarly fame was made. Working with WPA labor while sitting in the shade, and the Dodge goes rolling on. Glory, glory, Joffre Coe. Are you singing? Are you singing? Glory, glory, Joffre Coe. And the Dodge goes rolling on. He was tramped through every bottom land in this old North State. He's seen the noble red man in flint and chert and slate. He had bagged up every pottery as if it were his fate. And the Dodge goes rolling on. Glory, glory, Joffre Coe. Help me now. Glory, glory, Joffre Coe. Glory, glory, Joffre Coe. And the Dodge goes rolling on. He has eaten pie and donuts in every roadside spot, and has washed the goodies downward with coffee by the pot. He has seen 10,000 movies, some were good and some were not. But the Dodge goes rolling on. Do you mean it? Glory, glory, Joffre, go. Come on. Glory, glory, Joffre, go. Glory, glory, Joffre, go. And the Dodge goes rolling on. And right there is a book. Jane brought it. It's the book that Joffre's father wrote, and it's all the story about the Town Creek excavation. So that's all she wrote for me. I'll lower this down. I'm going to read something from Peter because I think I found it, and then the floor is going to be open, children. I saw it here somewhere. Okay, here's Peter. Peter's up in Maine, I think he said. Peter White. I send my thanks for that wonderful man, Joff. Warmth, humor, support for music. When the Dylan party got big, others will probably talk about this Dylan party. When the Dylan party got big, we moved it to Joff's house, and he would open the party with the song, Is Your Love in Vain? Tomorrow is a Long Time, Song for Woody. Those three. I loved his rich and instantly recognizable voice. 7 great years for that celebration at Joff's. Though not from a Dylan song, I'll add that if energies run on desire alone, an old yellow car took Joffre home. Beautiful. All right. Floor is now open for anything more. We appreciate so much what Jody and Rodney and Jane and George have already brought, but there's plenty of room for talk or song or anything else. And you can do it from there. Come on up. All right, Stella. That I don't know, but we can try.
It doesn't matter, I'll just sit, I just need to sit.
Or I'll put a chair right here. Your voice sounds
Yeah,
fine.
I'll get
May I just spin this chair around for you?
my
And we'll ask everybody to also introduce themselves if they don't mind, because everybody knew Joff, but everybody hasn't yet met everybody here. Thank you, dear. What's your name?
Judy.
Judy. Judy.
All right. I'm Judy Chitowski, kind of Joff's. So, oh gosh. This will not be long and boring. But I was thinking about Joff. The friendship we had, we were friends, not just musicians together, we were also friends. And I was very endeared to him, and he was very endeared to me. And I was thinking about what makes someone endearing. What is that act? Why is that? And I was thinking about Joff and who he was, and why we were endeared to each other. When Jake moved him into out of Debbie's and into this little apartment in Chapel Hill, and it was just around the corner from my house, so I was going over there. And Mike Cook, where are you? I think you were over there that day. We made sandwiches, and I said a blessing before we ate. And then Joff looked up and said, it's one of his things. No atheist in a foxhole. And I was like, yep, there's no atheist in a foxhole. And that's the sort of thing that was so endearing to me. And when I look at this photograph here on this picture, I could look up from a jam, I look around the circle, and there would be Joff, ear to ear grinning, glowing. And it could be at a party, it could be at a jam. Even my folks came to one of our gyms that we had over at, when we were still on Beaver Street, so this was like 13 years ago. And my parents came, and my dad said, that guy playing the bass, he sure does smile a lot. and that was Joff. And he was always smiling. And you know what? All those years that I knew him and talked to him and visited with him, he just lived around the corner from, 3.4 miles from our house. Not a okay with popper bars. And Joff was okay with popper bars. And he would tell you if you couldn't hang, or he would give you that time, but it was nice and relaxing. I think part of that too is that technology. Joff didn't have a smartphone. I think both of us would have been great with calling cards. Joffre, Wigan, Code, the second of Chapel Hill codes. But the thing that maybe was endeared me to him so much was, I went to one of those parties at his house in Morgan Creek early on, and I had to park my van and walk down the driveway, and I was like, I have multiple sclerosis. A lot of people don't know how it's neurological. So, for example, when I was sitting up front, the minute Larry got on that mic and those sound waves were going, I lost my back. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fall out of this chair, and I have to move to the back. So people don't know that, you can't see it. But I was like, Joff, man, I can't, that was hard for me getting into your house. And, ever after that one time, there was always homes for a parking space for me. And not only that, Joff would come out. It's almost like he had a radar for when I was pulling up. And I never carried an instrument. If Joff was around, I never carried an instrument in or out. And even the times when George wasn't bringing him to the jam and I was, and Joff would have his bass and he'd have a lot of equipment, more equipment than I had. My instruments would go in first, and then Joff's. And he never forgot. Even when he was at the Chapel Hill apartment and repeating things over, he never forgot, because I would go over there to play music with him, because we couldn't do paper music anymore, but we could still play simple songs coming around the mountain. He would take my guitar, go up a hill, and then make sure it was in my van, say the same thing. Oh, that looks like an expensive van. And then I'd have to worry about him going down the hill back to his apartment, but he always made it. And at the last place where he was out in Alamance, I didn't get out there until after Christmas, because I did get into an accident in my van, and it was out of commission for 6 months, but we just sat in the back with some blankets on and looked at the lawn and the trees, and he was so appreciative to be there. And Jake, I do have to say this about you. I do love that you would go over and put stuff out on the lawn so Joff could go out and pick it up. Find clothes, because that's what Joff liked to do, But, and then I had, Joff he could still do music as long as it was simple enough for him to play, but I did play for him. The last time I saw him, I played for him one song that I had just learned, and Joff and I never did it together, and it was Darkness on the Delta. When there's darkness on the Delta and everything is bright, when there's darkness on the Delta, I'll be wrestling the shelter of your light. So I'm playing that song, and Joff is singing it along word for word, and I'm like, what? And he said, he knew. He's like, oh yeah, my mom's used to sing that song. She was from the Delta. And of course, with dementia and stuff, you remember things from childhood. So, but even that time, took my instrument, brought it out to my car, put it in, and then said, oh, that looks like an expensive van. And packed it away. So it was things like that. I mean, for me, that was really important, that he never forgot that, and I hope that I reciprocated, that he would remember. And coming here today, if he were here, he'd be out there, ready to help me in the door. And so, that was the very endearing thing to me, and, you know, it's not as common as you think. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Judy. What's your last name, Judy?
Chitrowski.
Chitowski. Thank you so much. Y'all are in charge? I'll speak. Oh.
Is that it?
You must agree, are you?
Go on. Yeah. Yeah, go.
Is this thing on over here?
The piano, I suppose it just flips on. I don't know
Let's
if
do.
that's where he wants to
Do you
play.
want to fly away?
Is any of
and
that
see?
stuff in your room?
I'll fly away and see.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's probably just a switch.
Am I gonna jostle this here?
We'll just leave it on. We're not worrying about it. And yeah, hand me that. That was, yeah. Good for you.
How you doing? My name is Joe, and I like singing. I used to sing at Joff's house a lot. A whole lot. We had some good times, and I see a lot of friendly faces here. Man, I used to say, Joff, you know, you're one of the golden girls. Like that's what we are. Like we're over here hanging out, and we fry fish and shrimp and just have a good old time. And so I just wanted to come today and just do a little something. So we'll just get to it. Some black morning when this life is over, I'll fly away. I said to a land where joy shall never end. You know I'll fly away. Oh, Gloria, fly away. Oh, Gloria.
like to sit in that chair, thank you. Thank you for that. Joe, thank you for that. And, oh, Mike, are you gonna come up here?
Go ahead, go ahead.
So many stories.
Speak up, James. Go speak up, girl.
He tells me that all the time. So many of you in this room I would not have met if it weren't for Joff. And so many people who couldn't be here today for one reason or another. And I'm really always very thankful for that. I spoke with Jim Weston this morning. He wanted me to express to everyone that he wished he could be here. It started pouring here now. He said it was pouring in Newport, North Carolina, and he had a driver to bring him up scheduled, but they decided not to make the trip. So he wants to give everybody, he wanted to be here. So I wanted to tell everybody hello. Larry, we'll take pictures of anything.
Anything moving, or stands still.
And you know, at least 3/4 of these are awesome. They're all amazing. Thank you for documenting and organizing and documenting and organizing pictures of the years for all of us and remembering stories and things that would jog our memory. Morgan Creek, that house on Morgan Creek was just a special, special, special place for so many of us. And, you know, for various reasons. Anyway, I'm happy to know that he is, you know, friends that you love, that they're loved by so many people. And Joff had a huge, massive circle of amazing friends, and so I feel lucky to be one. So, you ready?
My name's Michael Cook. I live up in Raleigh, or down in Raleigh, wherever it is. I get lost when I come out here in the country. I knew of Joff over 60 years ago. The Vietnam War was going on, and I'd done been to school way too much. But I went to UNC Chapel Hill from 1965 to 1967. And I heard about Joff about every day, what a great musician he was, and how he was over in Vietnam fighting for us. Well, he really wasn't. He was in Germany. But he went to Vietnam. We talked about this whenever we got together. He went to Vietnam in about 1968, I think, 67 or 8. He was actually at Cu Chi, a big base, Army base. And I was also at Cu Chi, a big Army base. Not very long, because I was an infantry lieutenant and I was out in the jungle most of the time. But I got drafted after I stopped going to Carolina 65 through 67 and sent to Vietnam. And hey, I got no regrets. It was a mess, but my country called it. But I heard Joff, Damon, his brother, I had a childhood friend, Bill Futrell, that was a Chapel Hill High School teacher. And so he hooked me up with a lot of musicians up in that area, great musicians, as you know, still are in that area. And we started, I switched from Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly type rock and roll to Black and Scruggs. We went there to the concert they did, anywhere within 100 miles. Bill and his wife Kathleen and Damon, Joff's brother. Lord, if you blindfold you and put you in a room and had Doc Watson on one side, flat picking, and Damon on the other side, you couldn't tell the difference. He got mad when Doc started singing on his songs because he said, that messes up me hearing this flat fee. But anyway, we had a ball. I pulled out this, I switched to a later model, actually older Gibson lately. But when we were playing, I had this guitar up there, 1966 Martin D18, because Earl Scruggs had one. Hey, I loved it, that Joff was also a guitar man, luthier, I think they call him, worked on it. Loved guitars, loved it, over there, I loved it. I don't want to this week. Santa Claus brought it to me in 1966, because Earl Scruggs played one when he played guitar. And we loved them boys, watching Saturday nights on TV. And of course, Earl played the banjo most of it. When he played that D18, he would hold it up by his ear, and he'd listen to it just smiling like he was enjoying it too. Thank you, picking with those banjo picks. Had pick guards all the way from the bridge on up forward, and kind of killed singing, but still sang good. So we had to have D18s. I think Damon got one later. He was playing Joff's Guild, I think, at that time. And Damon gave me this strap, which I've loved for over 60 years. Hearts and flowers. My wife has had to patch it up where it's going to. But Damon gave it to me. And Joff was away in the army. I think he probably saw it later there and said, "There's Joff, he ain't gonna need no more," and gave it to me. So I think this is probably Joff on the Joff's old straps, and I wasn't thinking that before. But we had a great time
That's
playing.
a 5-finger discount.
Yeah.
5-finger discount on that. Do you need a music stand, Mike?
I'm all right.
You
I'm
good?
not
Okay.
hearing.
Carry on, bro.
But went over to Joff's family home on Morgan Creek with Damon and some, and so when the parties we went to later, well, I ran a little bit, I'm old, but anyway, about 85 or 90, it was the first time I actually met Joff. He was up at the flea market in Raleigh where I live, and he was out there with Joe that was selling antiques and stuff. And somehow it came up about Rich Square, where I'm originally from, and that's where Damon's wife was, one of my old girlfriends, Sue. Had married her, I think his first wife, and it came up, and I said, "Oh, you're Joff. Well, we talked about you back in the 60s. I'm glad to finally meet you." So he was a friend from then on. Found out about this jam we had in outside Hillsborough, I think. In his backyard, kind of had a little barn right back with a deck on it. And he got into that and then told friends about it. And Marie Vanderbeck, you've probably seen her picture up here. She's a great jazz lady. I'm sure Joe knows her. And country singer. Just made friends that kept up. But that's how I ended up finally getting to play with Joff. And of course, us being Vietnam veterans, we like to talk about that. And he told me an amazing thing one time. I was wearing a t-shirt at one of his jams, and W.C. Handy Blues and Barbecue Festival in Henderson, Kentucky. Heck of a drive. Lord, I took the other to get there, but I've been there 4 or 5 years. And he said, "Well, let me tell you something. My mother, Sarah, I think he called her Sally, lived down in Marks, Mississippi. And when she was a child living there, they had a party one night and invited W.C. Handy to come play. Now, this guy was big time. He is the father of the blues. He wrote St. Louis Blues and a lot of other great songs. He stayed in Henderson, Kentucky, and played early on in the early 1900s. And so that's why they have a festival there. But so this circle, and I heard Joe do a little bit of it, but I'd like to do a little bit. Maybe we can form a little circle before we leave here. Because that circle, Joff, "Will It Circle Be Unbroken" is a great, fine tribute song to Joff because he was an important part of that circle. circle of life, the circle of family, the circle of friends, and last but not least, circle of music. Music was Joff. Thank you, Joff, for keeping it alive and passing it on, and I've got some great memories of it. George is going to come up here, and Joff did a song which I didn't pay much attention to. It was written back in 1984, and Dan Seals did it, and it was more folky for me. I was more in the country then. I like old honky-tonk music.
It's all country music, come on, man.
Yeah, I know they want them, but as a matter of fact, I will. Joff, you know, when I go to his jams, he said, "Mike, do truck driving man." I never thought that should be something Joff, you know, because that's honky tonk, and I do it for him, and love the song. I love honky tonk music, but Joff one time in his jam did My Old Yellow Car. That brought tears to my eyes. It touched me. He did it great. The best I've ever. He did it better than Dan Seals did. And they said they got to go on YouTube and look at it. They said they got to make it. And so about a year ago, I said I'm gonna learn that song. And I'm so old now, it's hard for me. My wife will tell you back when I was younger, never been real young. It would take me a month of going around the house singing the song over and over, because when you get out in public, you got to kind of be on automatic pilot. You can't mess up else it'll feel bad. But I learned the words in about a month, but they're going to chord most of the country songs I do. I'm a 3-chord country song guy. And I like singing E mostly, so E, A, and B, C. And I'm happy.
3 chords in the truth.
Most country songs are 3 chords. But this My Old Yellow Car has got, 5 or 6 chords in it. So I emailed George and said, because I learned it about a year ago, and me and Judy went over to Joff's. I said, I'm going to sing this song with Joff, because I know he loved it, the way he sung it so great. And it meant so much to me. And I did it, and I just couldn't, the chords just too hard to do. So that's why George is going to come up here and help me think. But it's a great song. But it's more than just a song. Let me tell you something. George was Joff's a few years younger than me. But in the 50s and 60s, when we were growing up, getting that first car was everything. Getting your license, getting out on the road, it was free. A car was something that changed the models every year. They were fast. And that song just resonated with me. The Old Yellow Car, I never had a yellow one, I had a red and white. I had a blue one, and I started painting red and white. A 1937 Ford. And the sad part of that song, that kind of brought my tears to your eyes, that old yellow car is sitting in a pile of rubber and steel, that old rusted automobile after it's done. Well, that's what happened to my 37 Ford, and I think, oh Lord, wish I'd have kept it. I loved it. I put a 1951 Oldsmobile rocket engine in it. I wanted to be a race car driver. Cars were everything, so that old yellow car, thank you, Joff. Well,
Amen. That's it.
a great song, and it's I like most of the old 40, 50, 60 old songs, but that's a newer song, but thank you, Joff, thank you. But Old Yellow Car, I'm going to do a couple of verses of it, and George said he'd done it a lot with Joff, and so he knew it. Come do it to see.
All right.
All right. And if you want to do a couple more, I'll just do 2 verses. If you want to do some, that's fine.
So let me know what you want to do. Let's see for the tune. Just hit the chord.
I don't play this much. I pulled it out in 2 times, but it's not broken anyway. I wanted to bring it happen anyway. Slow and haunting. Walk much to floorboard was patched up with paper and tar. But I really was something in my old yellow car. And a American boy with his hands on the wheel of a that was made of American steel. The seats had the smell of a big old cigar. It was in my old yellow car. Somewhere in pile of rubber and steel lies a rusty old car of an automobile. And if engines could run on desire alone, and that old yellow car would be driving me home. And that old yellow car is driving Joff home.
You want me to sing a verse?
If you want to, do it. Yeah.
Here's a filthy verse that Joff There's a spot where poor Billy threw up on his gates. Larry and Sandy were no longer with. There was no road to winding and nowhere to find. But the gas in my old yellow car. Look at me now, throwing money around, paying somebody drive me downtown. Got a Mercedes Benz with a TV and bar. I sure wish I was driving that old yellow car. Somewhere in a pile of rubber and steel, rusty old hull of an automobile. Engines could run on desire alone. Old yellow car driving Joff home. Oh man, That's all there is.
Joff used to ask for this, and I know this ain't the place to do honky tonk like this. Can you play truck driving man with me?
So what key is that?
E. I love to sing in E. That's one of the few songs I can sing. Yeah, you can do it. Tim, you come up front, Tim. I need a break from Tim. I look over there and he played keyboards and stuff like that. I say, is that piano in the house? And boy, is he good. Hey, I've enjoyed this thing. I started in the mid-60s playing. And Lord, he let me be able to.
E. Mike does everything he.
And I ain't got a daggone bit better since 1965, 66, 67. But I have had a great time with it, met some great people. Judy, great people.
Joe, kick it off.
Tim, and just music is a great thing, but this is a honky tonk. I stopped at a road house in Texas, a little place called Hamburg Land. I heard that old jukebox playing that song like a driving man. Well, the waitress in Joff was so generous with his time, with his places, and I think everybody was touched, and really, really sorry for all the troubles they had to go through, but, I don't, I'll save singing for later and stuff, but I just didn't want to say how much Joff meant to all of us.
Thank you.
Mine's gonna be simple and sweet, and that's not gonna involve music. Joff was a totally different person to me. He was my uncle. And my memories of Morgan Creek Road are definitely not your memories of Morgan Creek Road. There was always music of some sort. Whether it was my grandmother, Uncle Joff, my father, there was always some kind of music involved. But mine is Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. Sorry. It was a good childhood, and it was good because I will have to credit a lot of it to Uncle Joff. My grandfather and uncle were very large men, and I was a very little girl. And they terrified me. They were always giants. Well, Granddaddy was the gentle giant. And, but he was the cool uncle that I didn't understand was cool until a little bit later in life. When he would bring Christmas presents or birthday presents, it was always the most unique gifts. And it was always like, what mystery is he going to present to us as a gift? And it was always something that you would have never asked for, and something you didn't know you needed until you needed it later on. And Aunt Jo was the same way. Joff, in my early teens, I was a teenager. I was wild and rambunctious, and Jay and I had a tendency to get in a little bit of trouble here and there. And
Sounds like it could to me.
yeah, and whenever we got in trouble, we always hoped it was Uncle Joff that disciplined us. Just because he would sit down, tell you what you did wrong, tell you not to do it again, and then go on. One of the memories I have is, probably shouldn't even tell it. I decided to skip my high school one day and go to school with Jay, to his high school, and think that we wouldn't get caught with me going to a totally different school. It was really cool at the time. So I wake up, sneak out of Jay's room in the morning, and Uncle Joff says, "What are you doing here?" "I'm going to school with Jay." He said, "You think you're gonna get away with that?" And he let me go. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, we pulled it off. It's the funny part. We even fooled the school, Jay and I did, to believe that I was there living with him for like 3 months and that we were going to enroll me in Orange. And they let me go to class with him all day. And when I got home, or when we got home, Uncle Joff's and Aunt Joe's, he wanted to know how it went, and we successfully pulled it off, and he said, "No, don't do it again." And he took me home. So he was just that uncle, and he was the uncle of all trades. If you needed to ask this, he had an answer for that. If you could figure this out, he could figure it out. But he was, when I had my son, he was a very crucial part of me having my son and raising my son, and that's something I could never repay him back for. So he will be missed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rodney. And I remember meeting Joff. It was a music party, you can imagine. Trying to remember the year. And I think I've narrowed it down to 1979. I was doing a lot of flat picking on the guitar back then, trying to play fiddle tunes. And we met up at a music party, and we were both doing the same thing. And we hit it off right away. We both like flat picking. We both like to drink beer. And we both like to fish. So we hit the trifecta. You know, we had so much in common, and from that time on, we played music together about once or twice a week for years and years. A lot of times people would come over and play, and after everybody left, Joff and I would just sit around and talk. We just sit and have a conversation about anything, whatever we felt like talking about. We'd go fishing down at the coast. His folks had a place down there. And we would sit on the boat, and you don't really have a lot to do while you're fishing except talk. So we would talk. We had a mini conversation. We played a lot of music together, but I really got to know Joff just from talking to him. Many conversations we had. When we would play fiddle tunes, it's hard to play fiddle tunes on the guitar. You have to practice all the time to do it. It's difficult. And if Joff could get through a fiddle tune and hit every note, hit that last note, he had the biggest grin on his face that he made it through that tune playing all the notes, because it's hard to do. But anyway, I'm gonna miss him. I've known him for a long time. He was one of the best friends I ever had. And like Joe said, I think he's in heaven right now.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, did you want to do a song? Do you want to do your song?
Yeah, I didn't think we had a sign. I thought.
And George, don't forget you had another story to tell at some point too.
Oh, yeah, one more.
At some point, at any point. We want everybody to have a chance to do their thing.
Well, Elizabeth wanted to sing a song for him, so she asked me to play the guitar for her.
I brought my guitar, my daughter worked with me for it. This song, Long May You Run, was the first song that George was
welcoming me into the group, and he gave me fatherly advice, me and Mary Mace. And she sort of was like, I know how to play, but I didn't. So it really helped me for him to be sitting next to us when we sang that song, and him to say, that's good, you did, that's the best song you've done yet. So this song, Long May You Run, is kind of, it has to do with a car, and it has to do with the beach. And so I think both those things apply to Joff, that he loved. And do you know the tunes? Yes, have you ever played it?
You want to do it in that key that you've written in there?
I usually do it A. Yeah, on that. Yeah, that's it. Second key.
And while we're figuring out the key, would you tell us your name again, please, dear?
Oh, Elizabeth Aguilas.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know Mary Mace would love to be here today. She moved to upstate New York. So she couldn't have made it.
Phone rings one day, it's Joff. Out of the blues. He says, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I said, oh yeah, what? He said, I'm going to be out of town, I got to go to a stage show. And I promised that these people that I would play for them. And I can't do it. He said, so what's that got to do with me? I said, well, you got to do it.
I know this story.
And I said, well, all right, what the hell, what is it? And he says, you just have to play a couple of songs. it's in the old Senate chambers. So it's really cool. You'll like it. I said, all right. He said, I'll give you the details later. So a couple days later, I'm at his house, and I says, oh, by the way, what's the deal with this? He said, well, my friend Ellis has a little band. I said, well, how many people are in the band? He says, well, right now it'd be like you and Ellis. I said, what are the songs? And he says, well, I don't know, Ellis will tell you that. I said, well, what's the occasion? Why is it in this old abandoned building? And he said, well, it's an organization called the Sons of the Veterans of the Confederacy. I said, Jeff, we've been friends for a while now. You know that I'm from Chicago, Illinois. They call that the land of Lanning. And you want me to do what? He says, yeah, it's just a few songs. He says, there'll be a lot of people. He said, it's fun. They'll be dressed up in costumes and stuff. I said, yeah, I'll bet they will, but... Anyway, long story short, he said, every time you ask me to do something, can I have the jam at your house? Can we do the building guard at your house? I always say yes. I ask you to do one damn thing. I said, fine, I'll do it. But when there's a memorial, celebrate, sermons, march to the sea, and they need a guitar player, you are playing. He said, fine. This is a Dylan song. Peter White gets me to every once in a while. And lately I've been doing it more than I like. I'll remember you when I've forgotten all the rest. You to me were true.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, this looks like a nice old one.
It's gonna be older than you, dear.
This is easy. Let's see if I can remember any words. So, just because Joff was always so smiley and happy, and you'd look around, like I said before, and he'd be grinning. He was having the best time. He relished us. He relished us. All of us. I know, because he would tell me. But anyway, so. To Canaan's land, I'm on my way, where the soul of man never dies. There will be no sadness, and the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewells, there'll be no tear-stained eyes, 'cause all is peace and love and joy, and the soul of man never dies. And a love light's blooming there for me, where the soul of man never dies, and ever bloom for all eternity, where the soul of man never dies. Dear friends, there'll be no sad farewell, there'll be no tear-stained eyes, 'cause all is peace and joy and love, and the soul of Joff never dies. And a love light shine there for me, where the soul of man never dies. And it shines its way across the sea, where the soul of man never dies. And dear friends, there'll be no sad farewell, and there'll be no tear-stained eyes, 'cause all is love and joy and peace, where the soul of man never dies. Last time, dear friends, there'll be no sad farewells, there'll be no tear-stained eyes, 'cause all is love and joy and peace, and the soul of man never dies. No, the soul of man never dies. That's a nice line.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's light, nice and light.
It thought you were a good singer. Nice singer. And picker.
Pretty good singer. Pretty good, whatever.
None of us will ever be good, but we can always get a little bit better. Any more from the house here? We'd probably go longer if we had more beer. But you know, this has been just such an amazing afternoon. There'll probably be something else. I'm going to count on the jammers at some point to have something at a house somewhere, and there'll just be more of this because you know, it's like a song that has no end, right? Which I won't sing now, but
Thank you.
you're welcome. But I do have some copies of this, and there's probably not enough for everybody, but probably people know it. And I'll keep one up here, and if any other players, you see, Mr. Mike had decided that we could get in the circle ourselves. And so why don't you get started? You find somebody's hand to hold, and somebody else will find a hand and make a circle up here. Or just out here, wherever it's convenient. Those that can rise, do so. Those that want to keep sitting should do so. I'll strum along. Here, you get in front of me. Just get in front of me. I'll get behind you. I'm better behind. Probably. We'll find out.
Jeep's good.
And of course, anybody can pick along too. But find a hand to hold if you want to come up here and stand. If you just want to sit, that's fine too, because this is liberated territory, as Joffre would say.
I'm gonna do one verse. Where Circuit Bend Brotherhood was recorded by the Carter family, the famous Carter family, in 1935. But they had grabbed out of a hymn book, a 1907 hymnal, and had completely different words. The one they talked about, the mother that person's coming up there, is kind of sad. I think I gave you the words to it. You see that? Lot mile. Anyway, I'm
Next
gonna
verse, sing along.
do that first 1906 verse, and then we all sing the chorus together. The chorus is actually the same. Oh, you got verse?
Yeah, but not 07. I got the Carter's verse.
Let me do that first verse, for the
Where's
same.
the wood? Where's
Yeah.
the G verse?
Have all loved ones in the glory, is the forms you walk down this. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Or will that serve be a
stuff in fellowship. I'll be packing some stuff up here.
Good job, man.
Hey,
Jordan.
thank you. Yeah, I'm just seeing you in the future. I see you in the, Carver.
Morgan Creek?
Yeah, oh yeah, I have been in the Carver. Y'all used to have a little group that play out in Carver. What they call that?
Cover Music Festival?
Yeah, Carver Music.
Yeah, I've seen you there
You
too.
got why they don't do no kind of music.
I know, they changed.
Kind of weird.
They got to move on.